So this is the food that we're going to be taking for our weekend trip, our long weekend trip. And this is going to be 3 days and 2 nights. So I am counting on having 2 breakfasts, 3 lunches, 3 days of snacks, and 2 dinners. So I'm just going to quickly show you what I have, tell you a little bit about what I'm going to be making. So just here to the right, I have some of our staples. I have olive oil. And there I have some salt and freshly ground pepper in the shaker. And I just have some extra salt in case I need it for whatever reason. The pot that I have is the ever new titanium non-stick pot. It's 900 milliliter or something like that. Then I have the cozy for it that I just made. And just behind it I have some camp suds, and I have a sponge in a Nalgene container, which I roll up in here so that it's actually a full-size sponge, but it stays in here. I usually pack it up with the bear bag at night, just so that if there's any food remnants on it, it gets packed up. I have a towel just to dry dishes and things like that, or in the pots. Here, one of these op sacks. I think for this trip one will be enough, just for garbage. And I'm hoping that everything is going to fit in this larger op sack, which I'm going to be trying for the first time. I think it'll just give me more peace of mind, thinking that things are more odor-proof. On our last trip, we had something trying to go up the tree to get our stuff, and it woke me up in the middle of the night, so I'd rather they just not even realize there's food up there. Anyway, for breakfast, these are Dave's breakfasts, these are my breakfasts, and that's our coffee. For Dave, I have some hash browns. I just the regular frozen hash browns. I dehydrated them, boiled them first, and then dehydrated them. So it already has peppers and onions in it. Then there's some eggs. That's 2 eggs. Just need to add half a cup of water. And some bacon. So that's for his 2 breakfasts. Dave doesn't like mushy breakfasts, which I'm fine with, so that's why I make these for him. They're a little bit more complicated, but then he makes them himself, so not my problem. For myself, I really like I don't necessarily just want oatmeal, but this is really great. This is a recipe that I got from, it's called Another Fork on the Trail. And she's got some really great recipes. She's got A Fork in the Trail and a second book, which is Another Fork in the Trail. So this is from the second book. It's cherry almond couscous with marzipan. So I've actually used whole wheat couscous. And besides the milk powder that she says to add, I also add soy protein, just to make it a little bit more protein rich. And it has cherries and almonds and all that good stuff. So it's just a question of adding half a cup of water. Find it very filling. It's great. Here I have some rice flakes. And this one I have to actually add a cup of water, but it's the same idea. Just it has some brown sugar. This is not one of the recipes from her book. This is just something I kind of threw together. Milk powder also has some protein powder. And I'm not sure if it's raisins or prunes, one of the 2. Coffee. I usually take the Starbucks flavored coffee, either vanilla or caramel. But I had some of this at home. I haven't tried it, so instead of going out and buying more Starbucks, I'm just going to use this. I hope we'll be okay with it. I have some sugar packets and some Coffee Mate. So that's going to be breakfast. For lunch, even though we are planning on staying put at one campsite, we might want to do some day trips and do some portaging. So I do have lunches that can be made just by adding cold water. This one is a Mountain House one. It's a cold potato salad, and it only needs to add cold water. I added some freeze-dried beef to it, again just to add protein to the meal, and I have it in 2 separate Ziploc bags so that we can eat it directly from the bag. Here I have some pasta, And this is not the best pasta to rehydrate in cold water, but it will work. I find that if you want to rehydrate pasta in cold water, pasta like this is a little bit better because it's smaller. But I had this one prepared for our last trip and I'm just going to use it. So I've got pasta, I've got some freeze-dried chicken in here, and in here I have some pesto powder. Now, if you haven't gone to Mr. Babblefish 5's channel yet, you must do so. He has amazing recipes, and this is by far my favorite of the ones I've tried. I haven't tried them all yet, but this is amazing. If you like pesto, you have to give it a shot. If you try to make your own pesto at home, usually pesto is basil and pine nuts, and pine nuts can be quite expensive. So this actually has cilantro, parsley, and walnuts. So that's a little bit less expensive. It still has basil, but it's not as much as it has parsley and cilantro. So it becomes a little bit less expensive, and it's delicious. It's been dehydrated, so all I need to do here is just add some water to it, make it into a paste, and then add some olive oil, and we're ready to go. In here I have some black-eyed peas, and I've made it into a salad. What that means was I just kind of threw a whole bunch of different things in there. I threw some dehydrated cabbage shreds, some onions, probably some celery seeds. I don't even remember exactly what I put in here. It was just basically a whole bunch of different things. But it takes about half an hour, not even, to rehydrate in cold water. Black-eyed peas actually really hold their shape really well. Once it's rehydrated, I just throw in some tuna, mix it up, and we're good to go. For snacks, we find that we tend to skip snacks because we're usually satisfied with our breakfast and our lunches. But if we ever need a snack, sometimes we can't make dinner for whatever reason, we end up having snacks. And it's just nice to have them. I have just some trail mix, and I have them in 1 serving sizes, but we'll share them. So I have 1 for each day. I have 1 bar for each day for each of us. So there's 6 bars there. Some chestnuts. And here I have some fruit snacks. So these strip things. For drinks, I have some Gatorade, which is stuff that we, in these tablets, we usually take them when we are on a trip, like if we're traveling from day to day. And even though we will probably not be doing that this time, I still like to have it just in case. For dinner, I have here for one day, I have shrimp pasta. And this is something that I have made before. I actually have a video of it. So it's a little bit different than what I did in the video, because since then I have started cooking and dehydrating the pasta. It just makes life so much easier because I have it in a freezer bag. I just pour the boiling water in here, let it rehydrate, snip a little bit on the corner, drain out the water, and then I can add it to whatever else. Another thing I've changed is I used freeze-dried shrimp because I found that dehydrated shrimp was very chewy and I didn't like the texture of it. So that's going to be the first time I'm actually going to try the freeze-dried shrimp, so we'll see how that works out. Although it does have some asparagus to go in the dish, I like to always have greens on the side. So in this case I have some freeze-dried green beans. Then here we have lentils and rice. And I have 2 1.5 cup servings. Again, this is from Mr. Babblefish 5's recipes. Another really great dish. I tried a couple of them from his channel, and I have to say the pesto is by far my favorite. One that I think I won't go on any trip without it. And the lentils and rice was quite good as well. The only thing I changed was I've added, again, some of the freeze-dried beef, just to give it some protein. And to have something green to go with it, I have some green peas. We have a dessert for one of the days. I got some Backpacker's Pantry cheesecake. We'll give it a shot, see how that works out. I'm probably going to put this into a different bag, maybe. Well, it packs up easily enough. maybe I'll keep it in here just in case we don't use it. So yeah, that's pretty much the food that we are going to be taking for the 3 days. And I have some hot chocolate in case we want some at night. I already know this is going to be too much food. We always end up bringing food back. I'd rather bring food back than go wanting. So this now, what I do is I'm going to be putting them in little bags like this. So I'm going to have one for breakfast, one for lunch, one for snacks, one for dinner. Then all of those are going to be put inside of the op sack if they fit, and then that goes inside of my food bag, the Cuban fiber food bag. So all the food actually fit inside of my Z-Packs food bag. I was only able to turn it once, but right away by our first night, when we have to hang it up the first time, there will be less food already, considerably less food. So there's no problem there.